you on Facebook. Good job.
Yeah. So this afternoon, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go for a walk. So I started walking, and it's nice and warm outside. Actually,
Yes.
excuse me. Yeah, it was like 86. So I was walking around, and of course, the pollen's a problem at the moment. I think it's gotten really bad. And then, of course, the area I'm walking through, there's this guy cutting his grass, and it's like pushing it right out the road where I'm at. I'm like, you know,
Nice.
yeah. Here, let me get all that in.
I don't have to worry about grass.
Do what? No,
I
you
don't have
don't.
to worry about grass.
When you're mowing your rocks in your yard, that's what you got to worry about.
That's just being silly.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, wait. That's kind of the point of this show, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. We got somebody out there listening / watching. Hello. Let's see. And get back to where we were. Get back to where we once belong. April 17th. That's my cousin Jeannie's birthday. Oh, was that PII?
Yeah.
First, you got to figure out her last name. Mwahaha.
You know, I'm a little all these user account breaches is getting really old, you know. The last one I was just reading about was Roku.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, come on. You know, I've got like 3 Roku devices. I don't need, really. And one of my school friends, I posted this on Facebook, and he said it's about the third time in the last couple of weeks for him. At this point, I might as well just paint my social security number on the back of my car.
I was having a similar thought today as I
Yeah.
was driving down the road. Going, what if instead of license plates, they just put your address on the car?
Can I just sell my information rather than just letting other people take it from someplace else?
Just put information on there so people could say, that was a very nice left turn you made right in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd never get any positive feedback from other drivers.
Yeah.
But hey, if you exposed yourself out there like that, and
It-
you might drive a little better knowing that everyone's got your info.
oh, it kind of reminds me of I was just watching the episode of the Orville where the people were upvoting or downvoting everyone.
Yes.
That's what you need to do. There's a car that's acting out near you. You just have a device where you can downvote them.
Oh,
If they
right.
get,
Yeah,
they get enough downvotes, their car stops.
get the cars to communicate with each other, and you send them a message, but they don't read it while they're live, because that would be distracted driving. But when you get home, it would show a replay of, whoa, where's the fire, buddy?
Oh, I saw a bunch of them today. Yesterday I had a guy. I I didn't really see him. It was like in a Camaro, so the Camaros are kind of low profile.
Yes.
And I just happened to notice the roof line, and he's riding, telling my car if he's any closer to be in the back seat. And so I wasn't going particularly slow, nor was I going particularly fast. About maybe a little over speed limit. And then as soon as he could, he got the inclination to go around me really fast.
And then
And he
take the
did.
exit right in front of you.
Well, he started to, and I went ahead as soon as he started doing that. I knew what he was doing, so I started backing off. I just let off the gas,
Yep.
and I swear he almost caused another accident in front of me. I'm like, it's just not worth it.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
I dropped off Julie at the airport yesterday, and I was coming back, and there was a guy swerving like nobody's business. This is in a 4-lane section, like 4 on my side of the highway. There's another 4 on the other side. And there was an HOV lane. Well, it's 5 a.m, so you can use that. And he was sort of in one of those middle 2 lanes, just going, your tires were outside. Going, what the heck? He's either really tired, really drunk, or really distracted. So I gave a wide berth to that guy. I didn't want to go in lane number, he was in 3. If you go from the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 would have been the HOV lane.
Right.
I went into the HOV lane. I said, there's no way I'm going in 4, and I'm not going to go around him on the right-hand side. It's like, yikes, that was the scariest driving I have seen in a long time.
I'll tell you real quick, the scariest thing I saw was I was coming home from our mountain house and was on I-85. And as I was going, I noticed these 2 guys were trying to get in front of each
You
other.
guys just drive
I
like old
know.
guys.
So these 2 guys were trying to get in front of each other, and then they were brake checking each other, like, and they were basically duking it out on the street, and I was like, I s got over as far as I could in the far right lane and just cruised to stay away from them.
Yep.
Man, they were gonna kill each other.
Where are the cops when you need them?
I don't drive like an old man.
Says the other old man.
Yeah.
He knows because he does it.
Yeah.
Get you a new one.
Yeah, that's right. It's just
All right,
ridiculous,
shall we
yeah.
begin?
Yes, let me turn off our pre-banner. What yeah, okay, we go.
Works for
Alright,
me.
there we go.
And away we go in 3, 2, 1, or whenever the thing decides to start counting seconds. We'll go from there.
6, 12, 3.
Technorama episode 740 for April 17th, 2024. Hello and welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. Well, most of the things geek. Yeah, I think we got most of them covered.
Yeah.
Some. We cover some things geek. All right, really, there's nothing geeky on this show at all. We just made
Right.
it up. It's a tagline. We paid some high-paid consultant to figure this out for us, make
No,
us a nice tagline, and that's what they came up with.
no, this is all generated by AI.
Ah, that's it. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. You kind of get the gist of the show already. A little bit of
Yeah.
self-deprecating humor and a lot of geeky stuff coming up. Thank you for joining us. If you are returning, welcome back. We appreciate you giving us your time. And it's time to introduce our panel.
Yeah.
My name is Chuck Tomasi, and I am one of the hosts of this show. And right over there is Mr. Craig Stepp. How are you?
I'm doing well, Chuck. How you doing?
Wrong way
I
again.
know.
He's doing it on purpose now. You're like my father-in-law. May he rest in peace. He would purposely say words that he knew were wrong, even
Yeah,
after
of
being
course.
corrected multitudes of times. There was a grocery store called Cub Foods.
Cub
And
Foods,
he
okay.
always called it Cub's Food. Or the other grocery store, Woodman's, and he'd call it Woodsman.
I've never done anything like that before.
Mhm. Right, on purpose, multiple
Yeah.
times. I was like, let it go, let it go. All right, we have some feedback from our last episode. Shall we play that? Well, I guess they're gonna play anyway.
Why do you ask?
They've been waiting right there.
Letters every day.
Mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mailman, mail today.
Hey, look,
Tim
Tim
Elliott.
Elliott's back.
Yeah.
Wow, long time
Hi,
no
Tim
here.
Elliott. Hello, Tim
Long
Elliott.
Nice. Our question of the week last week, which we posed to Facebook, was what seems to be overpriced, but in reality is 100% worth it.
I saw one. It's already taken from. I already took my answer.
Okay, so Lone Guys Night says chocolate. I would agree, although I don't know that it's maybe overpriced. Depends who you're talking to.
Actually, you know what? I'm not saying spend too much, but when you can spend a little bit extra money on chocolate, you can get some good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just don't get the American cheap stuff. It's like beer. You can get cheap stuff and you can get good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. My sister Marty says coffee.
All right. And John Kratzer says Technorama podcast.
Are we overpriced?
Oh,
Well,
I don't-
the price you pay is the time you spend listening.
it's like that. Advice is worth what you pay for it, kind of thing.
Ah, gotcha. Well,
All right,
I'm going to put a ha-ha on that one too.
All right. So here's the one that was taken from me. Steve London said, "Kids," he says, "I love mine, but they're way too expensive, but almost worth every penny." Okay, yeah,
It's
like the qualifier. That's in case
Hey.
that's in case his kids read this message later.
we got a couple of shares, but
I got one.
You got one. You got one.
Yeah. So Adrian Meredith, she says, "Just having to replace my refrigerator. I have to say that small refrigerators are worth their higher price. Oh, smart refrigerators are worth their higher price. Excuse me. But I didn't pay full price." There you go.
Hey.
I do like my smart refrigerator. I mean, there's a couple of times where the door was didn't close
Mhm.
all the way, and then it gives you an alarm, which I
You
like.
just start singing. Dee dee dee, dee dee dee, dee dee dee, dee dee dee. Like, "Yes, I'm
Well,
still picking out my mayonnaise, thank you."
I have a Samsung refrigerator, and it'll come in on the smart things on my phone,
So
which is
so you can pull up the Find app and I need to find the refrigerator.
not find it. It gives you the alerts. That's
Well,
what
I
I'm
thought
trying.
all Samsung stuff was on the Find app.
Where's my fridge? Hey, it's like, is your
Is
fridge
your
running?
refrigerator running? Yeah, go get
Is,
Here's the
is your
high-tech
fridge
answer
running?
for today's practical joke.
Yeah. You better go catch it. Bah, ha, ha.
Samsung sends you a warning message.
Yeah,
Your refrigerator is running, and it's now 30 miles down the road.
right. That's pretty funny.
All right. I when I shared it, I just had one answer, and I said my remarkable 2. Expensive, but
Hmm.
100% worth it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I like mine too. Well, not mine. I don't have a remarkable, but I do like the books. It's great.
And for what it's worth, I don't know if I mentioned it here, but May 1st, Remarkable is ending their referral program. So if you want to save yourself 40 bucks or you're thinking about it, you can test it out and return it too. So if it doesn't
Hmm.
work out, you got like 100 days, I think, to return it.
Yeah.
Let me know. I've got a referral code that can save you 40 bucks. And if you want to really save some more money, don't get their marker or folio. I can refer you to a couple of really nice, cheaper options that work
Hmm.
really well.
Yeah. I have a couple of those options myself.
Okay, we have a voicemail from Crazy Joe that
All
we
right.
played a little while ago, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's make sure the audio is up on the right channel here.
All right, it's Crazy Joe here. What's your favorite terrible movie? 1988's Hot to Trot, starring Bobcat Goldthwait, Dabney Coleman, and John Candy as the voice of Don the Talking Horse. This movie is not
Beautiful.
good, but I saw it when I was in grade school, and it's
Uh-huh.
got this weird nostalgia for me, even though it wasn't good. And quite frankly, the movie should have been far worse than it was, because the original movie had Elliot Gould as the voice of the horse,
Oh my!
and test audiences hated it. So they went back and they redubbed all the horse's lines after the fact, John Candy, but they had
How'd they
to
get the horse to talk?
write new dialogue that matched the dialogue that Bobcat Goldthwait said on set. So that really should have been an absolute disaster. So the fact that it's even a legible movie at all is kind of a miracle. But that's my pick. Hot to Trot. Bobcat Goldthwait and John Candy is the voice of a talking horse.
Hey, remember that in Star Wars where the voice didn't quite go with Darth Vader and his finger was still pointing as he was talking?
Yeah.
Imagine the horse's hoof is still moving while it's talking.
Find Hot to Trot at Family Video on Beta.
Oh, beta. Actually, I went looking for the teaser for that, and yes, it looks terrible. Or the little trailer. Well, trailers. If you go watch old trailers now,
Yes, they're
they look a lot lamer than they do now, and they're more higher energy. You got jump cuts and stuff. But yeah, looking at old trailer for that, I don't. I think it. I think it sold its premise as a stupid movie.
I think I'll pass.
No, that's your homework for next week is to watch
Only
Hot
if
to Trot.
Only if MST3K makes it. That's the only way I made it through Star Crash.
You know what sucks is I really like all the guys that are mentioned in that movie, but
What, Star Crash or Hot to Trot?
the Hot to Trot, he was,
Oh.
yeah.
I'm surprised how many people watch that video on YouTube about the blue LED. It
Oh, really?
keeps coming up. Different independent. Julie said she watched it I don't know when she watched it, but she saw it. Went, that was a great story.
I
Yeah.
don't think I need to go back and look at that. I don't think I saw that.
Oh, it's in the show notes too.
Yeah, I know.
Great story of tenacity and persistence and ingenuity.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll even have a few surprises. A couple of emails here from listener Dave. He says, "Hi, I agree with Craig. John Carter of Mars isn't a terrible movie.
No.
I heard it had poor reviews, but before watching it, but I really enjoyed it."
Yeah.
Okay. That's 2.
I got really interested in it because I'd happened to be reading the John Carter of Mars, the book series.
Okay.
I had gone back and had read them. And so when they announced the movie, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." And there's better movies, but it's not bad at all. It's not terrible. It's worth watching. I think it's
Not
on
gonna
Disney
turn it
Plus.
into a not gonna turn it into a Broadway musical or anything.
No, no,
It's where all the good movies go.
right.
All right. We also have him writing in regarding Craig's review of The Tourist. My
Yes.
feelings about the main character was flipped during the last episode, but having watched and enjoyed season 2, small spoiler, the last 30 seconds of season 2 does it again. If you have the time, I'd still recommend watching season 2.
Okay. All right. I'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes.
All righty. I got to check the Patreon topic. No, I didn't put it in there. Remind me about Hulu when we get to the media corner. Or
Hulu? Okay.
wherever we're going. Just say Hulu.
Who knew?
And I'll go, what?
Right.
You said earlier in the show. Okay, that's it for the feedback. Whoa. Music. It's actually the same band.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. On this day in history for April 17, 2024, this is the 108th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are just 258 days remaining in the year. It was on this date in 1492 that Columbus sailed the ocean blue, that Spain and Christopher Columbus signed the capitulations of Santa Fe for his voyage to Asia to acquire spices. He could have gone to Arrakis too.
Yeah, he was right. He just folded the ocean and went over to the other side. Anyway, 503 years ago today, the trial of Martin Luther over his teachings began during the assembly of the Diet of the Worms. Is that a festival or something?
Hey, look it up.
Yeah. Initially intimidated, he asked for time to reflect before answering and is given a stay of 1 day.
Yes. Martin Luther, he nailed 99 feces to the...
No, he did not.
April 17th, 1524, Giovanni di Verrazzano reached New York Harbor and built a bridge. No, now there's a bridge named after him.
Yeah. The Ellis Island Immigration Center processed 11,747 people, more than on any other date on this date in 1907.
I can just see him going, you, done, stamp, next,
Yeah.
stamp, next. We're going to set a record today, Larry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also on April 17, 1951, the Peak District became the United Kingdom's first national park.
And it was on this date in 1961 that a group of Cuban exiles, financed and trained by the CIA, lands on the Bay of Pigs in Cuba with the aim of ousting Fidel Castro, known as the Bay of Pigs invasion.
What a great name.
Yeah.
That same date in 1969, Sirhan was convicted of assassinating Robert F. Kennedy.
And the damaged Apollo 13 spacecraft returned to Earth safely on this date in 1970.
Thank goodness there's some good news today.
Yeah.
Also, today in 2014, NASA's Kepler Space Telescope confirmed the discovery of the first Earth-sized planet in the Goldilocks zone of another star.
You
Happy
sound like Elmer Fudd.
Porky Pig.
Or Porky Pig, yeah.
Happy birthday goes out of the state to Italian priest and astronomer Giovanni Battista Riccioli. I'll get my Italian right sooner or later. With a name like Tomasi, it's got to be good. Born on this date in 1598.
And Carl Friedrich Philipp von Martius, the German botanist and explorer, was born 230 years ago today.
French mathematician and academic Etienne Barbier was born 226 years ago today.
And J.P. Morgan, the American banker and financier, founded J.P. Morgan and Company and was born 187 years ago today.
He was another one of these money barons,
Yeah,
robber barons, whatever you call them.
I think I wrote about him in one of my stories one time.
Augustus Edward Hugh Love, the English mathematician and theorist, was born on that date in 1863.
And Spanish-American ventriloquist Senor Wences was born on this date in 1896.
He was the guy who drew the little face on his hand. Close the door.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Great guy. Sidney Garfield, American physician, co-founded Kaiser Permanente. was born on this day in 1906.
And also born on the same date in 1936, Swiss chemist Urs Wild.
Isn't that a phrase like erstwhile?
Urs
Oh,
Wild.
that's ER.
Yeah.
Czech pianist, composer, and producer Jan Hammer. He did like the Miami Vice theme. And
Yes, he
stuff.
did. Yeah.
Born on this date in 1948. Listener birthdays this week include just two. Well, one's not even a birthday. We're going to give it credit anyway. April 19th is Amanda. She's Susie the Geek's daughter and geek in training. Did you just do like a select all?
I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, apparently everything just went pink.
Yeah.
Or my eyesight is getting really bad.
Yes.
And Craig, don't forget the 21st is your anniversary. How many years?
You don't have to remind me. I remember that.
How many years?
Oh, 23.
So you're married in 2001. Good man.
Yes.
He can still do the math. Ooh, 2 more years to the big 25. Got any plans?
I don't know. I'll let you know.
Start planning now. Trust me.
Oh no.
Is a good
I
time.
don't have to plan anything.
If you want to rent a hall or something.
No, she is the master planner for that kind of stuff.
I took our 25th. Anyway, let's get on with it. That's the way it was on this day for April 17, 2024. If you want to get on the birthday calendar, banner time, Craig. If you want to get on the birthday calendar, you go to chuckchat.com/birthday, get your name on the calendar, and we'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. If it's your birthday this week and you're not on the calendar yet, well, happy birthday to you. We wish you all the best. All right, that'll do it for that. Whee! Stop music. Stop music. Talk about. Stop music. I'm just going to massacre any song I can tonight. That's the goal.
So actually, my anniversary is 1 year ahead of almost a year exactly, not exactly, but close enough of Harrison's birthday. So,
Okay.
yeah, so everything's kind of clumped together. It's easy to remember it all.
I thought Harrison's birthday was in March.
It is. I mean, he's a year after we got married, so
Oh,
I'm not doing the math there.
okay. So you didn't have a shotgun wedding.
Not quite.
They always say the first baby always comes early.
Yeah. Yep, he did.
All right, let's get into the news, random.
Good news, everyone!
All right, well, this is kind of scary news from the headline. Scientists created a black hole in a lab to test a theory. Then it started glowing extremely bright. Actually, they didn't create a black hole. They're creating analogs of black holes using water and waves and attributing this to, can we make a metaphor, an analog, and making an analogy of how black holes work. They did a really good job. I watched the first video on this about the guy talking about, if you're a fish in a river and the water was still, you'd be able to hear the other fish around you. I think he said a blind fish. If you're a blind fish, you'd be able to hear what's going on around you. But if the water were moving, and they have a second fish, trying to talk to the blind fish, and he gets swept over a waterfall, pretty soon the motion of the water is carrying your sound away so fast that the blind fish isn't going to hear you anymore. That's kind of what happens when you fall into a black hole.
Sounds like a setup for a joke. There's a blind fish and a deaf fish, and one's trying to explain to the other.
Right. But the video was good up until about 3/4 of the way through. Then he lost me, like most things around black holes and higher end physics and quantum physics have to do. My brain goes.
Well, the thing about the thing about the whole article is they were trying to look and see if the Hawking radiation phenomenon was correct versus the relativity from Einstein, and they kind of split the difference, I think, a little bit, wasn't it?
They were talking about Hawking radiation. What was the other? Uran radiation. There was another guy who's famous for his radiation. There was another one about some waves. It was kind of interesting. I wanted to see more of the. There's a lot of talking head in this video, but I wanted to see more of the wave tanks and the little. They said they had a drain, circular drain, and the little tornado or the water tornado going down the drain. Like they said, the scientific name for this is a bathtub drain.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, they really worked hard on that one.
Yeah. Well, their simulation started to glow, and that's where they started to see the Hawking radiation
Yeah.
phenomenon show up, and that was a surprise for them when they made the simulation, which was pretty cool.
All right. I'm gonna do a screen share for this one for those that are watching at home.
Wait a
Screen
minute.
share.
Blindfish loves his blue albums, blues albums.
Blindfish, is that a band?
I don't
Okay.
know. Is it? It'd be awesome.
Yes. Can I share just my Chrome window? Sure can. All right. So, what looks like a UFO crash on Mars wasn't so much a UFO, it was the Perseverance landing module. And a couple of these pictures, you can see the parachute. There it is,
Yeah.
off in the distance. Zoom in a little for you on that. Can I?
Yep. There you go.
Woo! Okay. So, it looks like a UFO crash site. Well, they've got a little helicopter on Perseverance. And they've been flying it around. They were estimating they'll get about 5 flights out of this, and so far they're up to about 82. So,
72.
like most things on the mission, it's outlasted its usefulness. I mean, no, it's proven very valuable. I like this crash site because you can see down here on the lower left, it looks like an arm. Like, oh,
Oh yeah.
robots scattered all over the place.
What they should have done was put some crabs in there when it crashed. It looked like alien arms.
Oh, I thought you meant like the crabs would be eating the carcass, kind of like a whale on
Oh
the bottom of the ocean or something.
yeah. No. But
So pretty cool.
yeah, the helicopter was really helpful. It's out of use now because of the propeller. One of the propellers broke.
Oh, that would
But
be a
yeah,
little out of balance.
but they proved a very useful, like you said. They got 72 flights out of it where they weren't expecting much at all, and it was able to help even guide the path of the rover. Because it would go up and you could see the terrain better.
This way. Come on, but come on.
Yeah, it had a clicker on it, and it was come on, come on.
Keep your perseverance. Keep your rover on a leash.
Right. Yeah.
A sign up there. Make sure to clean up after your dog.
Some dog bags hanging off the helicopter.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't poop on my planet. We've got one for hacks and strange stories that goes. Yeah,
Actually, we should have named this section as stupid stories because this is kind of a dumb thing. What happened was as X.com, after Elon Musk bought Twitter, they started swapping out the domain names, and they did it basically using like regex or something, I guess, because they were posting links to netfleetwitter.com. Well, they would swap out Twitter with X.com, and they
so
would end up with Netflix.com.
it would display Netflix.com, but it would take you to Netflix Twitter. So this could be a scam, an opportunity for scammers to go, hey, come watch this Netflix movie. And it takes you to netfleetwitter.com or
Netflix.
setwitter.com and takes you to sex.com. Yeah, what just stupid stuff. Like, why did you ask anybody if this was a good idea or not?
It's like they used, like I said, it was like they used just a global regex, swap out these names.
Not regex, Reggie Twitter.
Reggie.
Do it right.
ReggieX.com.
Register REGE Twitter.com so that it just, like, what? It's like he's trying to break it.
This is another one of those. He should have just left it alone. The brand was so well known.
Exactly.
I don't understand it. That's like renaming the Ghostbusters to something, Spectre Busters.
No, like renaming the Ghostbusters to
G.com.
O.com. Yeah.
Stupid. If I bought Twitter, I'd have left it alone and just kind of built the brand even more positive about his light. But
how's that stock going for you, Uncle Elon?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, me neither. All right, let's give a quick shout out to the chat room since we are here on Sundays at 8:30 Eastern time. Love to hear from you. Love to see you. There's a number of people that are in the chat chatting away. And I know there are some on X.
Yeah.
We're streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and X. And we'd love to see you join us here, or if you're watching later or listening later, we appreciate that as well.
We
But you
stream
know,
on X, formerly known as Twitter.
I'm not even saying that anymore. In
I
fact, I'm
just
not even calling it X. I'm still calling it Twitter because people still know what you're talking about. It's not like 25 years have gone back and go, wow, I haven't heard that term in a long time.
yeah.
And you know, when you say Twitter, it's just gonna the only person who's gonna get irritated is Uncle Elon. All right, let's jump into having that fun. Let's jump into the remember when. We got a couple of things here.
Yeah.
Do you remember 5 1/4 inch floppies, Craig?
I do. I like
Well,
them. I like them actually, to be honest with you.
it turns out that the San Francisco Municipal Transport Agency is still using them.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
Yeah,
Do tell.
they set up a system back in the 90s, which is odd because 3.5s had come out by that point. I don't know why this has to be on 5 1/4 inch floppies, but it says members of the SFMTA recently spoke with the ABC Bay Area News and detailed the agency's use of 3 5 1/4 inch floppy disks every morning. The floppies have been part of the Muni Metro's automatic train control system, or ATCS, since its installation in the Market Street subway stop in 1998. Already, they were at least 10 years behind the times.
Yeah.
The ATCS has multiple components, quote, including computers on board the trains that are tied into propulsion and brake systems, central and local servers, and communications infrastructure like loop cable signal wires. Michael Rocafort of the SFMTA spokesperson told Ars Technica, the floppy disks are for loading the software running the central servers. They have to boot from floppy?
I like the quote down here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, some say.
You know, you can still buy floppies on, I mean, I hope they have backups of these things, but you can buy them on Amazon.
Yeah, I know you can still buy them, but I imagine that, well, obviously over time,
They
they're going to
degrade.
be few and far between.
Yeah. One of my projects in the backlog is to take the Apple IIe that I've got
Mhm.
and hook my phone into the audio port, because there are sites that's how you used to load from tape, right?
High tape deck.
Yes, a high-end tape
Uh.
deck, and you download audio files that have the apps loaded on them.
Mhm, mhm.
So all you do is you type load, and you
Yeah.
hit play on your phone, and it goes like a modem and
Mhm.
loads the app. And now you can save it to a floppy.
Yep. Yep.
Pretty dang
Well,
cool.
I've used, you know, I had a Commodore tape deck, but I remember one time something happened, so I had to use a regular tape deck. You have to get the volume just right, but you could get it to read them, with no problem.
Oh, what fun.
Mhm.
That was a fun article, Craig.
Well,
I
I've
when
seen
when we
I've
were
seen
at
routers that still had floppy disks, not 5 1/4, but you
yeah,
know, you load up this is a long time
I
ago
thought
now,
it
but
was bad in 2008 when we were at the Star Trek experience. We had the behind the scenes tour and we saw the
yeah,
simulator rides, and they
yep.
were running Windows 3.1.
Yes, that's right.
I thought that was terrible. That was, 15
Well,
years out of date. This is
and
ridiculous.
and look when they built it. So they built that was it 97, I guess.
98?
Yeah, 97, 90, something like that. And then they were still using Windows 3.1 at that point, you know.
Yeah,
But it was reliable, I guess. So
I suppose that one made more sense, and I think they knew it had a shelf life.
well, the whole experience had a shelf life, wouldn't
Right,
you
that's what I
say?
meant.
Right.
All right. Next article from sciencealert.com explains that expired cans of salmon from decades ago
Mm,
revealed a big surprise. I don't know that it was a surprise though after reading this.
okay.
So they took these canned salmon cans that are up to 50 years old, and they're in brine, as canned fish often is.
Hmm.
And along with the fish are anything that the fish had in its system, including some worms called
Ugh.
anisakid worms. Okay. And they're usually about a centimeter long. not harmful to humans. Not it was part of the fish cycle life. And this scientist lady said, somebody offered her, "Would you like to get your hands on some of these old cans of fish?" She said, yes, I would, because it's almost like an ice core telling you the health of the salmon ecosystem as you go through.
Yep.
If the salmon have these worms in them, it's not the sign of sickness. It's actually a sign that the ecosystem is thriving, because these worms, their eggs are spread and the larvae are swimming around, and they're eaten by krill, which get eaten by little fish, which get eaten by bigger fish and end up in the salmon. Okay, so by the salmon having these in them, once the salmon does its thing and poops, more eggs are released back into the system. So this I thought it was very interesting from not what you expect, because normally you'd look at this and go, ah!
Right.
First of all, I don't eat canned fish. That I think Grant had that on his Grant cast a few times about canned fish, and then realized didn't really like it after all. He had good memories of it, but didn't really like it today. The sorry, side note there. So don't be surprised if you open up an old can of canned fish and take it apart carefully. You might just find some worms in there. It's not a bad thing. We just have this, gross.
Yeah. Well, you say it's not a bad thing, but if you found one in your can of salmon,
it was inside the muscular tissue, so you probably wouldn't even see it. It's not like it's wiggling around.
Now I'm not sure. I used to like canned salmon. Thanks. Wait a minute, I picked the article.
I like smoked salmon.
Yes, I do too.
All right, let's go on to the patrons.
Hey, this goes. All this fish talk kind of goes into with the blind fish you were talking about earlier.
Hey, it's a fishy episode.
Yeah,
something's fishy about that. We should come up with our show titles like Dave Slusher does. Just halfway through, we find something.
Oh yeah, let me make a note.
Yeah. All right, it's twice we mentioned that, man. Happy birthday! No, birthdays are in the past. Thank you to our patrons, people like Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dandy Man Coyer, Dean Jensen, Denise English, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Schrauen. Thank you to Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Brad Miller, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Steve Wishy, Steve Cody, Steve Theory, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook. Ooh, ended that just at the right place.
There you go. Good
Thank
time.
you, all of them. They went over to, it says right there on the screen. How about that?
Yeah. Wow.
Thank you, Magic Elf that makes the labels appear.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/Technorama podcast, where they contributed as little as $1 an episode to keep this show afloat. More fish references.
Hey, by the way, you can go check out the holycarp.com, my old Twitter account.
It's a real catch. Quite a tale you spin.
Yeah.
We can keep going, but let's not.
Yeah, no, let's pass.
Patreon.com/Technorama podcast, extra episode, shout out in the show, postcard here and there, that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun. All right, we get a media corner. It says Chuck's note about Hulu. So I was talking to my friend Scott, and he said, well, you got Hulu? Did you know you can add Disney Plus for $2 a month more? I said, I did not know that. You can also add a whole bunch of other stuff like Showtime and Stars and ESPN Plus. He said, don't bother with any of that stuff. But Disney Plus, hey, I can now catch up on many a thing. So that's nice. So we added that. I thought it was funny because it was prorated. It said, amount due now, 57 cents.
Oh, no.
oh, I have to think about this. Honey.
Yeah. Get approval from the CFO.
No, I did ask for approval before adding it. I said, hey, we should be watching some of this stuff.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on it. See, now you can watch The Mandalorian and catch up on some of the Star Wars to Obi-Wan, which I don't know if you saw.
I can't play a Mandalorian. I just learned how to play the ukulele.
It's similar.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, the Obi-Wan show. Some Marvel stuff on there if you're into Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
Thinking about it. Thinking about it. All right, what do you got on past the Wiimote?
All right. Well.
You've been watching anything on Netflix Twitter?
I did. Yeah, Netflix order. So we watched Kim and I watched Ripley, which is a show on Netflix, and it is related to the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley. Came out in '99.
Oh, not
Same
Ripley
similar
from
story.
Ripley's Believe It or Not. Different.
No, not that one.
Not Ripley from, the Nostromo.
No,
Oh, mm,
no. So here's the premise: 1950s New York. Tom Ripley he's at a down at heel con man. That's the first time I've heard that phrase, down at heel. Is hired by a wealthy man to convince his prodigal son to return home from Italy. But
yes.
Tom's introduction to Dickie Greenleaf's comfortable and leisurely life abroad is the first step into a complex life of deceit, fraud, and murder.
Murder.
So he goes over there and he starts realizing he likes this life in Italy because it's, like you said, it's laid back, everything. He was really enjoying it, but he wanted that life. So that's all I'm going to tell you. There's 8
Alright.
episodes. I got to tell you one thing about this though. Not necessarily about the story, but what impressed me so much about this series was the acting was good. The story was pretty good. What was amazing to me was the cinematography. It's all black and white,
Mhm.
and every scene was set up almost like a photograph. It was framed right. Uh, you could tell somebody really took care in doing so. It was really nice to look at. So I can recommend this. We enjoyed it. My wife and I, we watched what's it, 8 episodes. There you go. Yeah, it was great.
Okay. Good, good.
Mhm.
I got a few. Um, I normally don't watch these kind of shows 'cause I get disappointed at them. Files of the Unexplained,
Ooh.
season 1 on Netflix.
Wait, is this the one with William Shatner?
No,
Okay.
I think that's just called Unexplained.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not on the show. And
I'm
that
not
one,
far.
I started watching that, and I got really frustrated. It's like nothing ever was resolved.
Oh.
This is okay, there's a mystery, we're gonna tell you about it, and, you make your own decision.
Mhm.
Uh, episode 1 had me laughing hysterically.
Oh, really?
Have
What was
you
it
have
about?
you watched Kentucky Fried Movie, right?
Oh, a long time ago.
So
Yeah.
you know about the section in the middle of the island of Dr. Klon,
Yeah.
and, "What was that? This is
Yes.
not a charade. We need total concentration."
Right.
Okay, I
I
watched
think I
that
remember that.
a
Yeah.
number of times, and then later, I watched Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. That's what
Yes.
that segment is based on, is Enter the Dragon. I could
Ah.
not stop laughing watching Enter the Dragon, even though there was nothing funny going on.
No, it's not a comedy.
No, but I knew where the funny bits go, and it made it funny. That's what episode 1 was to me. It's a story about 2 guys down in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Uh, there were these 2 friends and their 2 dads, and they knew each other, and this one guy's dad is out with this one guy's friend. So it wasn't like father and son or father and father. It was, you know, father and
Mhm.
his friend. And they worked at the shipyards. They went out fishing on the river and claimed to have been picked up by a UFO. It was an alien abduction thing. And it traumatized them to bits. So you're going, why was Chuck laughing so hard? When they got to the part about the alien, he didn't have hands, he had claws. I lost it. I no,
I
it
see
and that
now.
wasn't the funny part. The funny part is you
Uh-huh.
have to know the context in which me and my brothers and sisters, when back in 1982, there was a radio show called Buffalo Dick's Radio Ranch. I may have mentioned it before.
Okay.
It's we would listen to this. It'd come out about 5 minutes to 7. So my brother Paul and I were rooming together, and we'd turn on the radio and you hear, "It's time for mom and dad to leave the room because your old pal Buffalo Dick is on the air."
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
it was like John Bell or Clinton,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have their whole world. Well, he's he's sorta on this
He coined the
TV
term of
show
podcast, right?
with the kids. He eventually did. He eventually did, get his own site, and I tried to get him to start a podcast. We talked years later, we talked.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I reached out to him, and, well, one we would record these to cassette and then play them over and over later.
Right.
I Okay, let me give you a hint of what it was like.
All right.
Okay. He'd have guests on the show. Today's guest is a man who claims to have been picked up by a UFO. No, no, no. I don't claim nothing. I was.
I was. Mhm.
He goes, a man who was picked up by a UFO. He said, okay, so what's your story? He goes, well, me and my buddy Dewey, we was fishing down a gizzard pond just outside of Tuscaloosa. We was catching bluegill. We was using homemade flies that we tied to ourselves, make fly. And Buffalo Dick interjects, says, in the interest of time, can we get to the part about the UFO? Yeah, I was getting to that.
Yeah.
I go, yeah.
Right.
Well, like I said, we was fishing for bluegill, and Dewey caught what turned out to be a 9-pound bluegill. What? Yeah, where's the spaceship? Well,
I'm
all
getting
of
to
a
that.
sudden, the whole sky lit up like it was on fire. Holy doodle! And this spaceship looking thing, which was about 95 feet long and about 45 feet wide, looked like a 72 Buick, complete with white sidewall tires and a chrome bumper. But it was not a 72 Buick with white sidewall tires and a chrome bumper, because it was not of this earth, as we in the know would rather call it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, it proceeded to pick up me and Dewey and the boat, all the gizzards pond, and the 9-pound bluegill.
Oh my God.
Craig, this is in my brain for over 40 years.
Right?
Yes. And
Hey,
of
there's
course, Buffalo Dick has his sidekick companion, Buffalo Chip, who comes in a sec. Yes. And he's talking about, he says, Dick, this man, he didn't say any word. Well, we was no, he could only say one word. We said, sir, do you have a name? And he nodded to me and he nodded to Dewey and he said, tuna fish. And we said, is that your name? And he shook his head and said, tuna fish. Now I'm thinking John Bell and his potatoes, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I got you have
There's hints
wait,
all
wait,
over
wait.
the place.
Is this online? Can you listen to it?
I don't know. Yes. I don't know if this particular episode is out there. I've never heard it again. But yes, if you just search for Buffalo Dick's Radio Ranch, you'll find it. It used to be at buffalodick.tv, and I think it's now at buffalodick.net. So he's going through this story. He says, you know what? So I gave him a piece of paper, and he used a black magic marker that I got from J.C. Penney's. And I know he got it from J.C. Penney because he had a receipt for $1.95, and that's what they cost at J.C. Penney's. So he wrote down his name, G-O-O-R-T, Gort. And we said, oh, sir, do you have a last name? And he nodded at me, and he nodded at Dewey, and he said, tuna fish. Yeah, tuna fish, right. And he wrote down Weber. Gort Weber in an oversized 72 Buick. Yeah. And you know what? Them people like country music. What? Yeah, that's right. He had what would have been the dashboard of his 72 Buick had it been of this earth, but of course it was not of this earth. He had an 8-track tape. So he popped in his 8-track of the Lefty Frizzell. And he was just going to beat the band. He was a snapping his right claw and a tapping his left claw. You know what the
Okay.
crazy thing about this is, Dick? Nobody believes me. Why nobody can fathom a story like that is beyond me. So I was
Hey,
like,
you know what? Yeah, I can see where the subconscious influences on this show where they came from.
I did
Stuff
that
like that.
I told that story to Julie and Will, my daughter and son-in-law, and
But they were
Lisa
like,
and Francis, my other daughter and son-in-law, and I walked away. I said, "Now you know what happened to me."
yeah, right. That's right. That's pretty funny.
All right, apologies to Jeff Lamb if I got some of the lines wrong, but hey, 40 years might do that to your brain.
Yeah.
Thank you for the fun. It was right up there with Dr. Demento. There were several episodes that at least 4 that I've got committed to memory.
Hmm.
I'm sure you've probably heard me talk about soup and sandwiches.
Oh yeah.
That was
All
one
right,
of
we'll
them.
save that one for next time.
All right.
Hey, by the way, Ben
Oh.
Vaughn says hello in the.
Hey, Ben Vaughn. Good to see
Yeah.
you. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for the Patreon stuff. The second one I watched is from the Wayback File. Happened to pop up on Netflix, recommended for me, Amadeus.
Rock Me Amadeus.
That movie still, I mean, F. Murray Abraham is so good in that movie.
Yeah, that was good. I remember seeing that like on HBO or something like that a long time ago. That's where I first saw it. It was
Yeah,
great.
and the music still holds up, obviously. It's
It's classic.
quite. The other one I threw in was a YouTube video called "Why the International Dateline Looks So Stupid."
Why does it look stupid? Is it
It's
painted on
not
the earth or
straight.
something?
It's all jagged
Oh yeah.
and sticks way out east
Probably
to
because a lot of people go, no, we don't want that, and they borders and
well, a lot of it was political.
policy. Yeah, that's what I
As
mean.
a country would take possession of islands and then it reverted, and now you've got the US owns some over here, and this country is trying to run itself in 2 different days, not just time zone, but days.
Oh well.
This is really tough because
Mhm.
you think about it, if you had this line running right through the center of your town, and half of the people didn't work on Sunday. Oh, yeah. It's your Monday, it's their Sunday. So you
Yeah.
can't get a hold of them because they're not at work yet. Then you get to Friday, it's their Friday and your Saturday. You've effectively cut your work week down to 3 days where you can work together.
Well, our company is global and kind of deal with that a little bit when
Right.
Australia comes into play.
Oh, or trying to work with India. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It happens, but it's different when you're a global company versus when you're, you know,
No, I mean I understand what you're where you're getting at. It's a similar issue just on a smaller scale in a
yep,
country. Yeah.
a
So,
more focused scale, I would call it.
hmm
Uh,
imagine you go, I got to go to the bank on Monday. Oh, they're closed. So
it's a
tomorrow.
holiday. Now I gotta wait 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. You know
Yep.
that's happened. You know that's happened. Somebody's, I gotta pay my bill. Oh no, they're closed.
I threw one in the geek library about why the Mississippi River Bridge collapsed. This was the I-35
Mhm.
bridge that collapsed in 2007 in
Oh
Minnesota.
yeah. Hmm.
So, it was Ryan Socash doing its history. He does a great job with his videos. All right, that leads
Cool.
us to the end of the show. It's a question of the week. What is a movie where the main character just can't get anything right?
Charlie Brown.
Uh, no, I was thinking Die Hard.
Die Hard. I want to see a mix of those two.
Charlie Brown and Die Hard.
Yeah.
All right, we'll post that to social media and expect your answers coming up
Yeah.
soon. We'll have them in the next episode. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Craig, for pulling these stories together.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to start some music. There we go. It's time to get out of here. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do
Hey.
so by calling the listener line like Crazy Joe did,
Yes, he did.
707-530-2428. If you want to email us like Dave did, Technorama at chuckchat.com is a good way to do that. So we have all kinds of other places if you want to message us on the interwebs. We're probably not using X too much anymore.
I go in there and look every once in a while and make sure we're covered.
I haven't been on so long that my two-factor didn't work anymore.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Like, whoa, I've been through a couple of phone recycles here. But yeah, we'll do our best to get back to you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Hope to see you again. Hope you have a wonderful week.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, let a friend know about Technorama. We appreciate it. Till then, Craig's going to give us a binary high five.
101.
Done. All right.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming out.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tim, Mike, and Gary. We had quite a few people. Cheers, man. We're going to stop the live stream and go record our Patreon show. Take care.
All right.